50 years later, I ended my seclusion, yet I still could not find any clue as to why I had failed my love tribulation. In the end, I decided to split my soul in half and enter reincarnation. This time, I had to find the reason from the very beginning. However, an accident happened the moment I was about to step through the gate of reincarnation. A powerful force suddenly pulled my soul away and dragged it into the body of a girl who had just died. The moment I opened my eyes, I saw nothing but countless graves surrounding me. The body I had possessed was barely able to contain my half-soul. If my complete soul had entered this body, it would have shattered instantly. After accepting the girl's memories, I could make out only one word to describe her life: miserable. Born into a third-rate cultivation family, she was discovered to have no spiritual root and was abandoned by her own parents. In the end, she was beaten to death for stealing a bun because she was too hungry and had no silver or spiritual stones. And now, I was that pitiful little girl. I examined my soul space and found that only a quarter of it remained usable. However, it was enough. Since I had already entered this girl's body, I could only make do with it. My original body had been sealed the moment I split my soul for reincarnation, and I could not return to it for now. After searching through my soul space, I finally found some items that could be useful for this mortal body. Fortunately, the usable quarter of my space still contained most of the resources a beginner cultivator would need. The rest of my treasures must have been sealed together with my original body. I was wondering what to do next when I stumbled upon a dying man dressed in a white robe. For some reason, he gave me a strange sense of familiarity, as though I had known him before. I brushed the feeling aside and turned to leave. Suddenly, a hand grabbed my ankle. I jerked my leg back, but his grip did not loosen. Although this body had just recovered, it was still the body of a mortal girl without the slightest trace of cultivation. I could only struggle to pry his fingers away, yet they did not move at all. After countless years as an immortal venerable, I had not felt this helpless in a very long time. In the end, I could only rummage through my soul space for a healing pill and feed it to him. After a while, his external wounds healed at a speed visible to the naked eye. The moment he opened his eyes, a cold, razor-sharp gaze met mine. In the next instant, the hand that had been clutching my ankle was wrapped around my neck instead. I was slightly taken aback, but I remained calm. "Is this how you repay your savior?" I asked indifferently. He seemed to realize what he had done and immediately released my neck. He opened his mouth as if to say something, but I cut him off. "Let's get out of here first." Without waiting for a reply, I walked ahead, leaving the sea of graves behind. Beyond the graveyard lay a dense forest, and not far ahead was a clear pool of water. A wave of discomfort washed over me. This new body felt filthy and weak. I needed to find a place to settle down and begin cultivating again as soon as possible. I was about to remove my clothes and cleanse myself. A voice suddenly came from behind. "Ms. I'm still here." Only then did I remember there was another person nearby. I turned and glanced at him. "Then why didn't you know how to avoid suspicion?" The man froze for a moment before hurriedly turning away. After that, I cleaned myself and began thinking about my next destination. What a coincidence! This body's name was also ShuangFeng. After examining my new body, I discovered that she wasn't without a spiritual root. Her spiritual root had merely been sealed by someone. Removing the seal would be an easy task for me. From her memories, I also learned that 50 years ago, a ruthless path cultivator known as ShuangFeng Venerable from Nine Heaven Sword sect had fallen. The reason behind his death remained a mystery. Fellow Dosed, I am Tiansu, the chief disciple of the Nine Heavens Sword sect. Thank you for saving my life. I recalled more information from this body's memories. The Nine Heavens Sword sect was about to begin recruiting new disciples. A thought crossed my mind. The ruthless path and the sword path were both paths of absolute conviction. Joining the Nine Heavens Sword sect might not be a bad choice. After deciding on my destination, Tiansu took the initiative to escort me there as he was heading in the same direction. After unsealing her spiritual root, I went straight to the Nine Heavens Sword sect's disciple selection. I stepped forward and placed my hand on the spirit testing stone. A sharp blue light burst out, revealing a heavenly ice spiritual root. I only glanced at the spirit testing stone calmly. This body's talent was only slightly inferior to my original body's chaotic spiritual root. The blinding ice blue pillar of light shot into the sky, causing the entire plaza to fall silent. A heavenly ice spiritual root. Such talent only appears once in several thousand years. Before the disciples could recover from their shock, several figures descended from the sky, each radiating an overwhelming aura. The sect master arrived first. An old man in azure robe stepped in front of him. "Little girl, become my disciple. I possess the Ice Tao inheritance in the 9 Heaven Sword sect. No one is more suitable to guide your cultivation." "Stop boasting!" another elder snorted. "My sword peak has produced 3 sword emperors. Join me, and I guarantee you'll become the youngest sword sovereign in history." "Nonsense. Her temperament is calm and unwavering. She should cultivate under my frost moon peak." The elders glared at one another, each refusing to back down. Within moments, the dignified elders of the 9 Heaven Sword sect were arguing like children in front of countless stunned disciples. The sect master rubbed his forehead helplessly. "Enough. ShuangFeng, this sect master will allow you to choose your own master." Dozens of eyes fell upon me. The elders straightened their robes, trying their best to appear composed. I swept my gaze across each of them without the slightest ripple in my heart. In my previous life, even immortal emperors had competed to accept me as their disciple. Compared to that, the scene was hardly worth mentioning. My gaze slowly swept around before finally stopping at the figure standing furthest from the crowd. His clothes were old and wrinkled, a wine gourd hanging from his waist. His long silver hair was tied carelessly behind his back, and he looked more like a wandering drunkard than a respected elder. Yet beneath those half-closed eyes lay a terrifying sword intent that only someone who had reached the peak of the sword Tao could possess. I bowed. "This disciple wishes to take Senior Jian Wuken as my master." The elders stared at me in disbelief. "Jian Wuken? Has she lost her mind?" "You little girl, are you certain?" "I rarely return to the sect. Once you become my disciple, you'll mostly be on your own." "I am certain." He waved his hand lazily. Although Jian Wuchen rarely appeared, everyone knew one thing. This person was emotional unstable. One moment he looked lazy, without a care of the world. One moment he will send you flying. Some elders trying to persuade her little girl, "Why don't you reconsider it?" I'm decided. This master was the perfect choice. I didn't like anyone controlling me anyway. Master Jian Wuken merely waved his sleeve, and the scenery around us blurred. In the blink of an eye, we arrived at the highest peak of the 9 Heaven Sword sect. "From today onward, this is your home." I looked around. The peak was shrouded in clouds, with waterfalls cascading from towering cliffs. Countless ancient swords were embedded throughout the mountainside, each emitting a faint sword intent. A weathered stone tablet stood at the entrance. "There are only 2 people on this peak," Master said lazily. "You and me." He tossed a jade storage ring into my hand. "Your disciple's token, 100,000 spirit stones. 300 high-grade spirit stones, foundation establishment pills, spirit gathering pills, healing pills, talismans, and a flying sword." I swept my divine sense over the ring. Although insignificant compared to my previous life's wealth, it was more than enough for my current cultivation. Master then flicked another jade slip toward me. "This is my inheritance." The words engraved upon it radiated an ancient sword intent. "Heaven-splitting sword cannon." This sword art has accompanied me for over 1,000 years. Whether you can comprehend it depends on your own ability. After saying that, he disappeared without another word. He truly was an irresponsible master. Exactly the kind I preferred. I entered my cave abode, activated the protective formation, and officially entered closed-door cultivation. The heaven-splitting sword cannon was profound. while my previous life's cultivation experience allowed me to comprehend it with astonishing speed. Combined with my heavenly ice spiritual root, my cultivation advanced rapidly. Within a month, I stepped into the late stage of Kia refinement. It was time to leave seclusion. A few days later, I arrived at the sect mission hall. The hall was filled with disciples choosing missions. I walked toward the mission board and reached for a jade slip. Junior Sister Han, I turned around. Tiansu stood behind me in his white robes, his sword hanging at his waist. Senior Brother Tian. He walked toward me and handed me a jade slip. The sect has issued a mission to investigate the ancient Moon Valley. Several disciples have gone missing, and demonic beasts have appeared there. I looked at the mission details. I want Junior Sister Han to join my team. I accepted the jade slip. Who else is joining? Lu Jianchen from Hidden Sword Peak and Su Lianya from Heavenly Spirit Peak. A voice came from the side. Senior Brother Tian, you are bringing Junior Sister Han? Lu Jianchen walked over with a sword on his back. Zhu Lianya walked over, her gentle expression unchanged. Isn't this mission too dangerous for a newly joined disciple? I won't let you get hurt. Tiansu looked at me firmly. Behind him, Su Lianya approached with a gentle smile. But the coldness in her eyes did not match her expression. I glanced at her briefly before turning away. The first meeting between us had already revealed her hostility. I kept her in my sight. When do we leave? Tomorrow morning. Understood. I turned and left the mission hall. The next morning, the four of us gathered at the sect's mountain gate. Tiansu stood at the front, holding the mission jade slip. Ancient Moon Valley is located beyond the eastern mountains. We will arrive there in 3 days. Stay alert along the way. Understood. Lu Jianchen stood beside him, his eyes briefly landing on me. Junior Sister Han, this mission will be dangerous. Stay close to me if anything happens. Junior Sister Han will be with me. Lu Jianchen's smile faded slightly. Senior Brother Tian, I was only concerned about Junior Sister Han's safety. Su Lianya stepped forward with a gentle smile. Since we are all disciples of the same sect, we should work together. Her gaze swept over me briefly before she continued. However, Junior Sister Han has only recently joined the sect. I hope she will not become a burden during this mission. Dian Su's expression turned slightly colder. She will not be a burden. Junior Sister Su, you should be more careful with your words. I looked at Su Lianya's hurt expression. The moment Tiansu finished speaking, her eyes brimmed with tears. Senior Brother Chu, I just wanted to remind her. I have no bad intentions. Senior Brother Tian, let's get going. I turned away. I had no desire to continue listening to their endless conversation. On the 3rd day, we entered a dense forest near ancient Moon Valley. Suddenly, several demonic beasts appeared from the trees. Tiansu drew his sword. Junior Sister Han, behind me. I pulled out my sword. I can handle them. My sword cut through the beasts with clean movements. A moment later, a 3rd-grade demonic beast charged toward me from behind. The 3rd-grade demonic beast was equivalent to the core formation stage. I was about to avoid it, but Tiansu had already split it in 2 with a single strike. Thank you, Senior Brother Tian. Lu Jianchen, who was about to make a move, lowered his sword. His expression turned cold as he looked down without saying a word. As we entered deeper into ancient Moon Valley, the surrounding fog became thicker. Be careful. Something is wrong. Tiansu stopped walking. Before we could react, ancient formation patterns appeared beneath our feet. A blinding light swallowed everything. When I opened my eyes, I was lying on the bed. The sunlight shone through the window, and the familiar room came into view. ShuangFeng. Husband. I saw Su Tianming seem taken aback for a moment. Then he smiled and walked toward me. Did I just fall asleep? You fell asleep while waiting for me. I was taken by him to the dinner table, which was filled with delicious seafood. Zhu Tianming placed the dishes in front of me before sitting down. Eat more? You have been too tired lately. I picked up my chopsticks and tasted the food. The 2 of us ate quietly. The warm candlelight reflected across the small room, and the sound of the wind outside mixed with the waves from the sea. After we finished eating, Shu Tianming cleared the dishes and returned to sit beside me. He was silent for a moment. Then he looked at me. "Wife." I turned toward him. "What's wrong?" He hesitated before speaking. "Have you ever thought about having a child?" Shu Tianming lowered his gaze slightly, his voice gentle. "We have been together for 3 years. If we had a child, our family would be complete. I am not against it. But we have been together for 3 years. We have slept in the same room every night. Yet we still don't have a child. So you want a child?" He was slightly startled. Before he could answer, I stood up and grabbed his hand. "Then let's make one." Shu Tianming looked at me in surprise. I pulled him toward the bed and climbed onto it first. "Come on up." He stood there without moving. Today, Shu Tianming seemed unusually flustered, as if he was hesitant to get on the bed. But we had already been sleeping together for 3 years. "Wife, He remained standing beside the bed with a blank expression. I reached out and pulled him down myself. After that, I pulled the blanket over us. "All right, sleep. Then we can have a child soon." I closed my eyes, waiting for it to happen. Shu Tianming stared at me in disbelief. "That's it?" I opened my eyes and looked at him in confusion. "Yes, what else?" And he suddenly burst into laughter. For some reason, he seemed relieved. "Wife, is this how we have slept together for 3 years?" "Yes." "Why are you asking? Did you lose your memory?" Shu Tianming smiled. Then he suddenly leaned down and kissed my lips. I was taken aback. A strange feeling rose in my heart. My heart, which had always remained as still as water, rippled slightly. "What are you doing?" I asked blankly. His face turned red and his voice became hoarse. "Wife." "No wonder. We don't have a child after all these years. We were wrong this whole time." "What is wrong? Are we supposed to sleep on the bed together to have a child?" I had been an orphan my entire life. The only person who had guided me was my master, a remnant soul left behind with an inheritance. Everything I knew about marriage came from what I had heard before encountering my remnant soul master. From a young age, the only thing my master taught me was the path of the ruthless Tao. "Wife, I just read a book. That is not how we create a child." "How?" I asked, looking at him seriously. "Wife, close your eyes. Just follow my lead." I closed my eyes and waited for the process he was talking about. Tiansu's POV. Tiansu looked at the woman before him. He always knew that he was not Shu Tianming. He was not junior sister Han's husband. The moment he realized this illusion was created from his junior sister's deepest attachment, jealousy appeared in his heart. At first, he wanted to remind junior sister Han of reality, but the illusion stopped him and forced him to follow its instructions. When the illusion demanded that he created a child with junior sister Han, he tried his best to resist. But in the end, his body still followed everything the illusion instructed. "Junior sister Han, I don't want this either. This is only an illusion. It is not real." He kept telling himself that. Yet in the end, he still followed everything the illusion placed in his mind. He was forced to follow the rules of the illusion, but his heart was filled with a feeling he had never experienced before. Happiness. He knew he was despicable for feeling happy after taking advantage of junior sister Han. But he could not control his own heart. In the end, even he did not know whether he was truly being forced by the illusion, or whether he was simply following the desire hidden deep within himself. He kept junior sister Han awake throughout the night. This illusion was too strange. Even when junior sister Han asked him to stop, the illusion continued forcing him to go on. ShuangFeng's POV. The next morning, I opened my eyes. Shu Tianming was beside me. I looked at him for a moment before getting out of bed. Last night was strange. I had followed his instructions, but I still did not understand why creating a child required so many steps. My master never taught me anything about such matters. He only taught me the ruthless Tao and the path of cultivation. Yet last night, my heart was no longer as calm as before. The feeling was strange. It was like being on a small boat drifting on the sea, rising and falling with the waves throughout the night. I had faced countless battles and cultivated for many years, but I had never experienced such a feeling before. I could not understand it.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, please help support the channel by subscribing, turning on the notification bell, and liking this video. It really helps the channel grow. Don't forget to stay tuned for the next episode. See you soon!